Hello English learners, and welcome to the first video on English Online. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about collocations. But before we do that, why learn collocations in the first place? Well, let me tell you that learning collocations will certainly make your language more natural, fluent, and easily understood, especially by native speakers. And that's a plus if you ask me. Second of all, learning collocations will certainly provide you with alternative and richer ways of expressing yourself, and that will give you more confidence, especially in a professional context or when talking to native speakers. And the third reason to learn collocations is that our brains usually learn language and use it better in chunks or blocks rather than in single words, and that will certainly make the process of learning English time-saving and more beneficial. So now let's move to the definition of a collocation. What is a collocation? Simply, a collocation is two or more words that are often used together in a way that sounds natural and correct. So to native speakers, some words usually go with others. That's just how it is. And as language learners, we should follow that, and we should learn those words and know their meanings and use them in our daily speech or writing, of course, to sound more natural and more correct to native speakers. And of course, to be able to communicate better, to get the message through to the other person. For example, we have the word that you all know probably, fast food. You will never hear a native speaker saying quick food, for example, because quick does not collocate with food. Quick maybe collocates with meal. I'm going to have a quick meal. But if we want to talk about food that we buy in the street when we don't have time to cook, we call that fast food. All right, that's a collocation, and both words are usually or often used together to mean what I just talked about, which is food that we buy in the street, ready-made food, right? So we should always remember that collocates must be in the same order, right? For example, fast food. We cannot say, for example, food fast. I like fast food. For example, fast food is delicious, but we cannot say food fast is delicious or I like food fast. That will sound awkward and not correct at all. Another example is school subject and not subject school, of course. I can say English is my favorite school subject, but I cannot say English is my favorite subject school. That will not sound correct as well, right? Another thing to remember is that collocations must be remembered by heart so that we can use them appropriately and naturally. And this is very important because we don't have rules that tells us or that tell us when to use words or certain words with certain other words. We only need to know these words through reading and listening, for example, to English input, and then be able to use them correctly. And this means that we should remember these words by heart in order to do that, in order to be able to use them appropriately and naturally. Otherwise, we'll have problems with the use of collocations, right? Now let's move to the types of collocations that we have, of course. So the first type is that we have is adverb plus adjective. For example, completely satisfied. We could say, I am completely satisfied with my new phone, for example. Say that you have just bought a phone and that you're completely satisfied with the apps and the system. So you could say, I am completely satisfied with my new phone. We also have collocations that are formed this way, adjectives plus noun. For example, I fell down and hurt my leg. I feel a terrible pain. I feel a terrible pain. So terrible, the word terrible, which is an adjective, goes with the word pain, which is a noun. We also have a third type, which is noun plus noun. And in this example, we have a round of applause. We give a round of applause to someone who has done something great or has succeeded in doing something. For example, to scientists or public speakers, and so on. We also have noun plus verb. For example, the plane took off. So the plane here is a noun. To take off is a verb, usually used with planes because they go into the air. We call that take off. So, for example, my plane took off at 8 o'clock this morning, for example. Another type is verb plus noun. For example, do homework. Verb do, noun homework. My teacher asked me to do my homework on time. And we also have verb plus expression. To run out of money, to run out of money. For example, I wanted to buy that phone, but unfortunately I ran out of money. It means I don't have any more money. You see here, to run out is a verb, or to run is a verb. Out of money is an expression. And when we put them together, we mean that we don't have any more money and that we must maybe borrow some or work for some money, right? And we also have the last type, as you can see here, which is a verb plus adverb. For example, whisper softly. So here you can see whisper is a verb and softly is an adverb. For example, Mary whispered softly into John's ear. All right, so collocations, as you can see, cannot be used correctly and appropriately unless we memorize them and unless we learn them through reading and listening to native speakers. I hope that the lesson was easy for you, and I want to remind you to go to English Online Facebook group to download the document that I will leave you there, and to subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friends, and see you in the next video. Bye.